Thank you for joining us now. This is Business Breakfast. We're broadcasting live from our studios here in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital. Let's get started now. We have Gamaliel Tanimomo, a business analyst. He joins us virtually now. Thank you for joining us, Gamaliel. Good to have you again.
Thank you for having me, and good morning to our listeners.
Yeah, good morning. So, I know you've been following the story of the inauguration of Dangote Refinery. Of course, the world's largest single train with about 650,000 capacity. Quite a lot of eminent Nigerians have described it as a historic moment in Nigeria's oil and gas sector, how it's going to create jobs and how it's going to reduce dependence on oil importation. And again, particularly the issue of forest crisis. Peter Obi, speaking yesterday with iBrandTV, talked about the fact that this is going to address the issue of forest crisis. Talk to us about this particular event.
Okay, so thank you for having me, and good morning to our listeners, irrespective of where you're coming from. I think it's a good sign, and this event has put the country on a global scale, particularly coming after the heels where Ida Bassi did 100 hours of cooking, and that is just on the lighter mood. The only person that wasn't at that event is myself and maybe yourself, but the whole world was at that event. And I think for the reasons that you have clearly communicated earlier, the commissioning is a step in the right direction. However, my fears are that beyond commissioning, when is it going to go fully operational? Because considering the size of that project, it is huge. But let's leave that aside. Let us look at the economic benefits of that project. That project is PPP, which is a model of investment that governments globally are using and are still using to drive economic growth.
Well, I guess, we lost connection with Gamaliel. They'll hope to have him back soon. But Gamaliel was trying to highlight the fact that this is a product of a result of a PPP, private partnership scheme. I listened to the CBN governor talking about the fact that the CBN has about 50% debt financing, of course, of the total equity, and why Dangote himself, the Aliko Dangote, has about 50% equity. So if you put that together, that's about over 18 billion US dollars in terms of funding. So that means that CBN actually provided about 9%. That's $9 billion in the financing of this project. Talk to us, Gamaliel. Are you back? Are you there?
Yes, I am back. Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead, please.
So, looking at how much has gone into that investment in terms of some trillions of naira, and particularly because of the model, a PPP, I think it's good, and it's another feather in the cap of the outgoing government of President Muhammadu Buhari. According to available reports, that must have cost some 35 trillion in fiscal expenditure. But it is fine. I'm particularly excited because, one, it will reduce our dependence on importation. Number two is that it will reduce the pressure on our naira. Number three is that, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead, Gamaliel.
Number three is that it will create several direct and indirect jobs. Number four is the value chain of opportunities that will be derived from the byproducts of petroleum, which we have not even scratched the surface at all. So I'm excited. This is a good time to be in Nigeria, and I'm excited that dreams can come alive. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I mean, you've talked about the issue of how these, of course, will benefit us. One other benefit, perhaps, if as we move to the second story, is that the federal government say they might save about 35 trillion naira in fiscal expenditure within the next 5 years with the commencement of operations of the Dangote Refinery and petrochemical. Of course, it's been scheduled, it's been rumored, or will I say it's been announced that by end of July, first week of August, the petrochemical, let's say the products from this refinery should hit the market. So, which means that this will help the federal government to save money annually around, it's estimated to be around 7 trillion naira. So, talk to us about this. Do you think this will bring a change with regards to how the federal government spent on subsidy? Remember, the federal government has postponed the removal of subsidy till further notice. We do not know when it's going to happen. But do you think this will make any difference?
Honestly, I do not think so, because this is not a walk in the park project. It's something that has to be phased and has to be done intentionally. Beyond the will on the part of the government, there must be the corresponding package.
Hello, Gamaliel. Well, I think the CBN governor was saying yesterday during the inauguration of the petroleum, refinery.
Without using,
okay, go ahead.
Without using the crystal ball. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead now.
So without using a crystal ball, I do not see anything happening significantly in the first 3 years. But hopefully, if we have the political will and we follow through, we will surely get the desired dividends.
Okay. It's all right. Perhaps we should be able to, let's keep fingers crossed, how the federal government will be able to save about 7 trillion naira annually. At the moment, the federal government has spent, between January and till date, the federal government has spent about over 3 trillion naira on subsidy alone this year. So we do not know how much that will amount to if you put that together by the end of the year. So quite a lot of tax ahead. But just before I leave this topic, this story, to go to the next one, talk to us about your expectation about the incoming administration. They've talked so much about how subsidy should go, but one wonders, just dive minute to the end of this administration, the government came up and said, you know what, we're not prepared, we have to shift or perhaps push this forward a little bit, which means that this is going to become a headache for the next administration. Do you see the next administration totally removing the subsidy?
Okay, so that is $1 million question. And I think the issue of subsidy is the elephant in the room. Wole Soyinka said that uneasy lies the head that wears a crown. So I do not in any way envy the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because it's coming in at a time and at a dangerous time like this. I think he will take a shot, but the cushioning effect must be put in place such that the impact of subsidy removal will not be felt by the average people or the average person.
Hello, Gamaliel. Well, I think Gamaliel was trying to say that this is not going to be easy for the incoming administration.
Measure.
Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Okay. Finish your thought there.
So if they can put in place measures to cushion the...
Anyway, we just have to perhaps wait till Gamaliel joins us. But I think Gamaliel was trying to make a point that, for the fact that the federal government has postponed this. Okay, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so you were saying that if they are able to put some measures in place to cushion the effect of the removal.
So the government needs to put certain measures in place to ease the burden of subsidy removal, maybe subsidizing cost of transportation, providing more last of mile delivery, and a lot of things.